Hey, good morning guys. This is Scott with Heritage Farms, Texas. It's a beautiful morning here. Getting ready to do a little feeding this morning before we head back to the city, and thought I'd actually show you guys our trip hopper. But before we get started, you can see I pulled the tractor into the field here, and you can see I'm being greeted instantly by a group of heifers. There's a few steers in there, but more importantly, they're waiting on getting fed. So I'm going to scan around up here, and you will see here is our 30-ton feeder. This came from Southwest Fabricators over in Hugo, Oklahoma, and really makes feeding convenient. Able to buy feed in bulk, get quite a savings. And this right here is our new Holland 5060 tractor, and it has a trip hopper on the back, which is a cake feeder. And a little unique because most of the time when you see these feeders, they're actually being used on a pickup truck. They're normally mounted on the back of a flatbed, something along that lines. We took a little different twist. Since I really didn't want to dedicate a truck to just feeding, since most of our pastures are fairly close, I decided that we would do something a little different. We set the tractor up so that I could put out round bales of hay on the front. At the same time, I could come in here, use the trip hopper on the back. But so what we did, most of the time, this thing is set up for trucks, so I don't know if you can see this or not, but we actually welded on some pipe down at the bottom, made a couple of little flanges, and you can see this is the rear hay spike on my tractor. So what we did was we just made basically a quick connect. So I can just slide into this, connect. Had to get some cables that were actually longer than the ones from the factory, but the people over at TNS Trip Hopper hooked me up with extended cables. Exceptional service. So what this thing does is basically you fill it up. This one will hold about 1,000 pounds of feed. And what's unique about this trip hopper is it goes along, and as you're driving, every so many feet it puts out a little pile of feed. And if you open this up right here, you can see you can actually set this little gate here based upon the numbers of pounds that you want to put out per pile, or per click, or trip as they call it. So it really makes it kind of nice. You can there's a counter inside that I'll show you where you actually measure, and you can actually see what's going on here. So right now I'm going to get ready to fill this up, and we'll see where we're going. Now, one thing I did also was the hay spikes actually stuck out a little bit further behind than I would have liked, which I was a little concerned that the cows might accidentally hurt themselves. So what I did on mine, I actually built a little, if you will, carry-all on the back, put some empty mineral buckets on here, screwed them to it, and it also allows me to carry like hay wrap, some mineral, some other things, so when I'm out in the field, I've got, a place to carry some supplies. One thing about this particular feed bin, which is nice, is it has a bucket feeder, and I'm going to show you here as I put some buckets in here of feed, so hold it tight. Alright, so what I'm going to do here is fill up a couple of buckets of feed for some bulls that we have. You can see how convenient it is to actually just come up with that. You can see what we're looking at here. Good little mixture of rations, commodity feed. And just like that, you got 3 buckets of feed ready to go. Now what I'm going to show you is how we actually fill this thing. It's a little bit higher up here than a normal setup since we're using a tractor. There's a sliding gate on this thing. Hold on one second, let me show you the camera here. Just want to show you the inside, what makes this thing work. It has a conveyor belt that's chain driven down at the bottom. And you see the little bars will actually slide the feed over to one end, and from that point it's dispensed back down on the ground. So really it's pretty simple at this point. A little bit on the dusty side, you got to make sure you're on the right end of this deal. But we'll fill this thing up, get ready to go out and make some rounds and put out some feed. And I'll show you how this thing really makes it convenient and easy. Used to, I was feeding out of 50-pound bags, and let me tell you what, that's hard to do. Tough on the body too, physically. Okay, here we are. We're coming into the pasture, getting ready to feed this little group of heifers, and as you can see, they know that this is Sugar Daddy coming with the feed truck. Feed tractor. They are ready to eat. So you can kind of see here, we got a pretty good little following coming along. Some of them made a mistake, went into the corral by accident. Here we come. They're all coming out now. All right, so what I'm going to show you today is the trip hopper, and what a great, easy, convenient thing this is for feeding it. One of the things that I really like about this machine, and let me get the tractor in the proper gear here, and I'll show you, is that this thing has a actual meter on it. And if you see this, we can actually set this meter. Here's your on-off knob, and this thing will actually count the clicks. And what I told you earlier on this was the clicks, you know, are based upon what this trip hopper is going to actually put out every time. So I'm going to put this thing in gear here, put it in first, go kind of slow, and I'm going to ease along, and we're going to start feeding the cows here. So you can kind of see, there it's actually putting a little click on the ground. You can kind of see the cows here, they really love this. So basically, in this particular pasture, what I have here is 25 heifers, or 25 heifers and a couple of steers. So I'm going to go along here and watch the trip counter, and I'm basically going to put out one click for every calf in this pasture. And what I know is that each click is somewhere around 8 or 9 pounds based upon the way that I have it set. Really a neat little setup. You can kind of see here. Go along, we're approaching the magic number. There we go. So now I can turn it off, and you can see the cows are all wind up, ready to go. So hold on one second. The other thing that's really cool about this is the ability, once you put the feed out, it's the ability for you to come by and look at your cattle and see what's going on. Because now you can do a drive-by. They're very occupied, and you can see what you have. So now you can look to see if anybody's been limping on the walk-up or what. You can also, makes it very convenient to count the cattle just to see what's happening. One thing doesn't match the others. What's that? One white calf. Greatest mama cow I've ever had. That's going to be the second generation. I'm hoping she's as good as her mom. So what you're looking at here, these are all Sim Angus, mostly Angus cattle, but some Sim Angus. And I just wanted to kind of give you an idea of what's happening here. So we'll be in touch shortly. Thanks. And that's how we feed the bulls. Hey guys, this is Scott, Heritage Farms, coming back to you. This is our second piece of property that we have. This is what we call Telephone 2. And we're going to come out here this morning and feed. You can see it's kind of a rainy, wet morning. This is our older group of cattle. This is kind of our commercial side. There's 15 head of mama cows in here. Supposedly, hopefully, they're all bred at this point in time. You saw one of our earlier videos. We just recently bought 40 acres that connects to this property. And as part of the deal, we actually had to take a horse and a donkey. And literally 40 acres and a mule, I say jokingly. But all right, so what we're going to do here today is we're going to put out some feed using the trip hopper. Once again, reset the counter to 0. Since there is 15 head of mama cows, we are going to start, and we're going to put out, these are a little bit bigger cows, so I'm going to put out somewhere in the neighborhood about 20 or 25 clicks. You can see how, once again, it's just dumping a nice little piece of little pile of feed, and the tractor spreads it out, so each cow in essence gets its own little pile to work with. And we can kind of just track the counter as we move along here. Just really a slick system. And the people at Trip Hopper, once again, were very easy to work with because this is not a normal application. Most of the people are putting this on trucks. Very few are actually putting it on a tractor. So it kind of gives you an idea of what we're dealing with. So I'm going to come up here, one more click, I'm done. Oh man, we are just beating it. Check out this hog damage right here too, guys. This is the other problem I'm fighting here, is I don't know if you can see, but the hogs are just eating me alive, tearing up my pasture. So anyway, I'm gonna circle back here real fast. You can kind of look on the ground. We do waste a little bit of feed since it is putting the piles of feed directly onto the ground, but you will be amazed. Those cows come back and they literally lick up every little bit of that feed. And a matter of fact, by the time they finish, it almost looks like a lawnmower came through there. So you can count, get a good count here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, a horse and a mule. So anyway, there's another update. That's the second pasture. I'm now on our way to our third group. We'll update you soon. Thanks. Hey guys, it's Scott here, again giving you another update. So we are coming into our third pasture here. This is what we call Telephone 1 as far as pastures are concerned. So I'm coming in here looking for the cows. It's kind of a cold, damp, wet morning. Just going to give you guys another update on another example of how this trip hopper feeder works. One thing that's really nice about this feeder is the ability that you don't have to get down there with the cows. You know, even though these cows are extremely gentle, when it comes to food, they get in a hurry, they rush, they bump into each other, bang around, and the last thing you want is to be down there in the middle of them and get stepped on, knocked down, or trampled on, whatever. So that makes it really nice to be able to just stay out of the way and actually feed the cattle and not be in the mix of things, if you will. So anyway, I got to try to find them. I don't know where they're at the moment. So I'll come back to you guys here shortly, but right now I've got to go find some cows. Hopefully we don't have a tree down on a fence and they haven't disappeared. One thing that normally happens though with this tractor is once these cows get used to feeding with this tractor, man, you pull in the pasture and these guys come running. So we'll have to see where they're at here. Let me circle back to you shortly. Thanks. All right, guys. Well, I think I'm closing in on finding the cows. You can kind of see them off in the distance or the horizon. And you can see they have now noticed me and they are definitely on the move. So once again, kind of nice that you don't have to get out and go looking for them on a case-by-case basis. Really makes it nice too if you want to move these cows from one pasture to another, or let's say we want to get them up in the squeeze chute to actually work them or vaccinate them. They're so familiar to this tractor and the feed that's on the tractor that they'll just follow you anywhere that you want to go. I guess that could be a positive or a negative. really not excited about putting out food this morning because we do dump the food right directly on the ground, and it is raining, as you can tell. So less than ideal situation, but once again, keep in mind, I'm a weekend farmer and rancher, and I live in Dallas and work during the week, so it is what it is. I don't have a lot of options here. I gotta feed when I gotta feed, so that's what we're at. But you can see here they're coming up. So this group of cattle here is a little bit younger group. This is more of our registered Simmental Angus. You can also check us out at Heritage Farms Texas on Instagram, Facebook, and there's also heritagefarmstexas.com, the website. So this group of cows have figured out, though, that if they gang up and get in front of the tractor, they try to stop it, almost like a roadblock, hoping that you'll go ahead and feed them. So tell you what, since this seems to be the majority of them, I'm going to stop right here. You can see they're still coming. Put this thing in a lower gear, reset the trip hopper to 0, and let's start putting out some food. So you can see it becomes a feeding frenzy around here as these cattle are just trying to get in here and get to the food as fast as they can. Apologize for the poor video, but it is kind of raining today. But you can see them come running. Once they know you're putting out food, they are on the run. And behind us you can kind of see what it looks like. And these guys are all about getting their food on. But you can kind of see here comes a couple up here. Everybody comes running wanting their pile of food. So gives you a chance to look, see if any's limping. Also, once again, gives you the opportunity to get a good count on your cattle before you are finished. In hindsight, looking back, you can see what you're dealing with. So, once again, here's just a little follow-up on the TNS trip hopper. You can see how it puts out nice, evenly spaced little piles of food. And you can see how the cows are just lined up and eating it. Once again, this gives you a great opportunity just to check on your herd, put food out in an efficient, timely manner. You're not having to deal with putting out bags. More importantly, it allows you to monitor how much food you're putting out per pasture based on the number of cattle that you have. Of course, there's always a couple that are pigs and will try to not only eat their pile, but they'll move quickly to get somebody else's. But at the same time, it's a great little system. It would definitely be better if I had feed troughs, like big concrete ones that I could drive along and put the feed in the trough. Maybe one day, but right now, you know, money's tight, times are hard. Is that what they say? So I got to watch every penny, every dollar, and try to make the most of it. So once again, this video is to show you how the TNS trip hopper makes it easy to feed cattle. Once again, not ideal conditions, but hey, it is what it is. Hope this video was educational. If you like what you see, please subscribe to our channel. We're trying to get our YouTube followers up. And once again, check us out at heritagefarmstexas.com, Instagram, you name it, we're there. Hey, thanks again. Bye.